Our region is seeing a wave of development, and many more projects have been announced recently. Today we have with us developers for 3 of the most significant projects that are being planned for our community. If you have a question today, please text it in to the number that's in your program. It's 910-264-8955. Make sure you include your name and table number with the text. We'll get a microphone to as many people as possible so you can ask your question directly to the panelists. To reintroduce, from Gary's help to start out, our panel today includes Roy Carroll, to my immediate left, who's the owner and president of the Carroll Companies and the developer of the Avenue. Next is Lucian Ellison, a partner with East-West Partners and the project manager for River Place. And on the end is David Swain, founder of Swain & Associates and the developer of Centrepointe. Let's please have a round of applause for our panel. We're going to start off today by having each panelist give us a brief overview of their project, and I'll ask Roy to get us going.
Well, thanks, Rob. And first and foremost, I want to thank you, the Business Journal, and our sponsors today putting on this event. This is first class. It's great to look out in the audience, see so many friends out there today. And we're really excited to be here and talk to you about our vision for the Avenue. And kind of the way this took place with us getting involved with this project is we started assembling some land over off Military Cutoff, and it grew until we're about 44 acres today total. And as everyone in this room knows, it's hard to assemble land, especially in that area. And so we were very fortunate that we were able to put together the land that we did. And our vision kind of started off in one direction and went a different direction. As we were able to put land together, we also started talking to various hotel brands. And we got some pushback from some of the brands that I can talk about a little bit later. But the stars aligned and we were able to get a Weston flag. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the project development. And so today our vision is not big box, it's not high traffic generating, high turnover restaurants, but it's a very, very upscale development with the Weston Hotel Spa as a centerpiece. And this hotel I can talk about a little bit more later, but it's 235 rooms, conference space. We're looking at a spa that'll be best in class. We were talking to spa consultants around the world basically about designing something that would be hopefully the best in North Carolina. And so we're excited about this. You know, at this stage of my life, I'm been blessed to where I have the opportunity to do some really neat projects. You know, we have our bread and butter projects, but this is a project development that my family and I have embraced. We're excited about it. Again, in addition to the hotel, we'll have 500 upscale residential units, so probably an age-restricted component in there. And the shops, the boutique shops. Again, we're not looking to have big box or anything like that. We're looking to go after the most high-end brands. You know, my wife would love to see a Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I hope somewhat we don't get those stores, but that's what we're going after. And, you know, you can say, well, Wilmington can support it. Well, we believe so. And our feasibility studies believe that we can go after those type retailers, high-end upscale. And this is a development that we're not going to build overnight. This is one that we're committed, you know, about $15 million into it. We don't have outside partners. We don't have equity partners. Carroll Companies will do this on their own. And then I'll own it the rest of my life, hopefully. So this is something that we're excited about and look forward to being part of the community in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you. Lucian.
Of course that happens. All right, I apologize. Let me get this technical difficulty worked out. There we go. Thank you, Rob, for having me on the panel this morning. Again, my name is Lucian Ellison with East-West Partners, and I'm the project manager for River Place. So in 2015, the city of Wilmington awarded the development rights to East-West Partners to redevelopment Water Street, the Water Street parking deck. And I think most of you guys know where that's located. It's indicated by the yellow star there on the map. It's on Water Street between Grace and Chestnut. And we really like this site for its geographic characteristics. We think it's a prime example of non-repeatable real estate. So the views of the Cape Fear River are phenomenal. Across the street you have the Cape Fear River Walk. Behind the site is Bijou Park, and that's an important connector for our residents to get from our site to the main retail corridor of Front Street of downtown Wilmington. We've got great proximity to Farming on Front, which is Wilmington's only downtown grocery store. We've got, we're a block away from the post office. We're down the street from the convention center here. We're around the corner from Cape Fear Community College. We're across the street from the Cotton Exchange. Our residents will actually be able to walk to the Wilson Center to see a show. So in terms of proximity to downtown amenities, I think we're in a premium spot. So currently, what's on the site now is a 60-year-old two-story parking deck that has 300 spaces in it, and it's concrete, and it's ugly, and it needs to come down as soon as possible. I think everybody would agree, and I'm working diligently to make that happen. But East-West Partners wants to activate that site, and we're going to activate the whole block of Water Street by adding 171 condominium units, or 171 residential units rather, 92 condos, 79 apartments. We're going to have 32,000 square feet of retail. Most of it is on the street level, but we'll also have a third floor component to the retail. There's also a 403 space parking deck, and the city is going to own and manage that parking deck. So this is a collaboration between East-West Partners and the city of Wilmington. The city actually currently owns the property, and they'll continue to own the property. East-West is going to sign a long-term ground lease to develop the commercial section, and we're going to purchase the air rights to develop the residential portion, which is going to be 12 stories above the commercial space. And again, the city is going to maintain and own the deck, and they're going to lease back spaces to our River Place residents, but there'll be plenty of parking for the public as well. So the project is about $83 million total cost. East-West is going to fund $60 million of that, and the city of Wilmington is going to chip in for $23 million. In terms of time frame, we think it's going to take about 22 months to build, and we're hoping to get started next month. If we can go back to that slide right there. So this is an overview. This is an aerial view of River Place, and as you can see, our most prominent amenity is the rooftop pool, which is on the 7th floor. It's going to be really nice up there. There's also a fitness center up there. And in the south tower, which is the tower on the right of the screen, there'll be some condominium-only amenities. There's going to be a nicely appointed club room, and there's going to be concierge service. If you can go to the next slide, please. That is a view of the third floor retail space, and we're excited to say that Ash Aziz has leased that space from us, and he's going to create another fine dining experience for downtown Wilmington. The thing I'm most excited about that is the 65 seats out on the patio area. So I can't wait to enjoy a fine meal and overlook the Cape Fear River. That's going to be fabulous. You'll also see that Chestnut Street here is open to traffic, and that hasn't happened since the 60s. Next slide, please. This is a view looking south, kind of on top of the Hilton Riverside, and I wanted to show this to give you an idea of where the parking deck is located within the project. It's tucked behind a portion of the condominiums and below the apartments in the back. And I think there's one more slide here, and this is looking north, and this is to give you an idea of where our project is located in proximity to the Water Street Center in the foreground, and then the Murchison building behind it, and of course the Hilton Riverside. So, thank you.
Thank you. David?
Rob, we got a little problem here. You told me that I had 3 to 5 minutes to describe my project. And every morning I get up, take a swim, have my coffee, get dressed, get ready to go to work, go over, tell my wife I love her, give her a kiss. It takes me 5 minutes to get out the door just with her. So we're in a situation here this morning. I'm going to do my very best to do so. But I got to tell you a few different things. Most of you people here in this room, probably 60% of you I know. The other 40% I don't know, but I will get to know. But I have a team of people that are sitting at a table over here that's as excited as I am about this project, and without them, I couldn't do anything. We're a small company of 10 people. We've done over 300 projects over my 40 years throughout the state of North Carolina and South Carolina. We believe in what we do. We don't build anything unless it's something that we are proud of, and that's where we are. They're excited. We're sort of the Chihuahua that thinks he's the St. Bernard, and we can pull a sled just as well as anybody, and we've accomplished what we try to do. So we're going to see some pictures this morning, and I've got a little laser pointer here. I'm going to stand up, if y'all don't mind. We have a property here that consists of 23 acres. It's right in the heart of everything of our community and of this region. We have named it Centrepointe because it is the center point. We have Military Cutoff Road that we abut, and you're looking right now. This is Military Cutoff Road. We have Eastwood that moves down through here. The 23-acre tract is designed to accommodate all the needs of the people within our county, but specifically for the landfall, the figure 8, the Wrightsville Beach, and half of the community. It's hard to control the entire community. The first building that we have right here, we have this to be a 5-star hotel flagship. As Roy has got a wonderful program going down the road, we intend to do the same thing. Adjacent to it, and we're doing everything that the city wants us to do to blend living, dining, restaurants, all the facilities within a certain classification. So we're doing just that. We have 300 apartments that will be 4 stories over retail, which is on the first floor. So we have 200 units in the hotel, 300 units in the apartment complex. We have a medical facility that is three stories high, 75,000 square feet involved with it. Then all the rest of this is retail, 183,000 square feet. And over this retail, we have 3 stories of professional Class A office space. All of this will blend together. People will be able to walk, bike, et cetera, within our community. They can live here, they can dine here, they can shop here, they can bring their guests here, medical attention for that end of the town. In the medical business, 15 minutes is a key point for me. If anybody gets in trouble, 15 minutes gives the people at hospitals, et cetera, people in that business, the abilities to help you if you have a stroke or whatever. I live in Landfall. That's in 15 minutes of my house. So I want to build that very much. So I got a lot of things personally I'm trying to do. This road right here, this area right here, the intersection of the two, we have Eastport, which is a 53-house subdivision. It was built by Dallas Harris 28 years ago. He built it on a commercial piece of property even back then, but now it is right in the hub. I have met with them multiple times, and I feel comfortable that they are embracing us at this point. So the entire project is based on several factors. We've been working on it for about a year now. There's a major intersection, as well you know, and it is a congested intersection. DOT is trying to determine exactly what they're going to do with it. They have narrowed down several different plans to 2 plans, one of which is the extension of Drysdale coming out of Landfall that would cut to Eastwood. The second is a flyover in this area. As a businessman, I have put my money on the Drysdale for multiple reasons. Number one, if the flyover occurs, there's going to be major congestion, there are going to be barrels, they're going to be building that for at least 2 years. My project can be marked off here, they can build that road. When it's finished, open the gates on each end, no conflict with business or residential. The other thing is we got a $28 million price tag estimated on the flyover. We got an $8 million price tag over here. It only makes sense. They both do the same thing. So how are we going to do? We're going to spend our money one way or the other. So I've got a whole lot more to talk to you about, but I think my time has run out. We shall have a question and answer.
Let's talk first about the timeline for each of these projects, because they're on very different timelines, different stages in the process. Let's start with Lucian, since you're the closest to breaking ground. I understand at any moment we're going to hear a large bang from the deck coming down.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Irma would kind of come up the coast and wreck the deck, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it, but it wasn't to be. So we were hoping to have already started on the construction. It just hasn't happened. This project has been a bear. There's been numerous roadblocks that we have overcome, but we just have a few more to get out of the way. And so we hope that we can start construction in mid-October. The demolition would come down, and once, or the demolition would commence, and once that started, then it'll be about 22 months to total project build out.
Who wants to go next? Roy or Dave?
I'll be glad to. As I mentioned, we've been working on it for a year, and everything is already teed up and ready to go. We're now waiting for the traffic impact analysis study to come in, so the MPO and the DOT can analyze it and review it and determine what they want to do at that intersection. We're anticipating that being received on October the 7th. It'll take them about 30 days to review it, to make their designation where they want to, which direction they want to move. When that determination is made, we will then go before the planning board. We anticipate that will probably be in December of this year. The planning board will make its review, and assuming that we get approvals from the planning board, then we'll go to the city council probably in January or February of next year. Once that is completed and we have the go-ahead, DOT will be simultaneously making the determination. There are some properties that will be lost out of Eastport. They will be doing the design on the road going through. They will need to acquire the properties for the road and do the design, and that will take them 18 months. At the end of the 18 months, they will put it on the fast track and it will move forward. So we're virtually 2 years out before DOT is ready to start their road. We will break ground simultaneously with a break ground of the road. We will not start any construction. There'll be we've got so much architectural work and planning to do on this property. It will take us that period of time. So we will start in 2 years. First buildings will come out probably 18 months after that fact. And depending on how strong the market is and how everything lines up, we're anticipating it's about an 8-year project. It could be condensed to 5, but more than likely it's an 8-year project.
Roy?
Like I mentioned, we've we've closed on our property. We've engaged engineers, architects. We have a TIA, traffic impact analysis. We're looking to go potentially to council sometime the first of next year. As far as breaking ground, I would see that it probably at the earliest would be the first quarter of 2019. There's probably a year of just getting your plans approved. A mixed-use project, mixed-use developments just complicate and slow down the overall process. The build-out for us would be somewhere between 8 and 10 years, depending on, again, market fundamentals. We are looking at phasing, doing multiple phases. The first phase, of course, and something we've got to get out of the ground is our hotel, our Westin Hotel. So that would be the first part of the development there.
So I think the biggest question we've heard leading up to this is for David and Roy. So in the Mayfair area, how much retail and restaurants, how much more capacity do you think there is? And then two, in terms of traffic along that corridor, what do you think would happen if both these developments happen?
Roy, go ahead.
Well, as far as the question about is there too much retail, and I mean, there is, of course, a national discussion about retail and what the Amazons of the world are doing to the retail world. And, we had concern about that, and that's one of the reasons we switched our focus to, another reason, to very upscale, because the fact of the matter is that upscale shops still draw people into the stores, and folks that are shopping for high-end items, or you can't. I don't know. You can go online and buy a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci or anything. Maybe you can. My wife could probably tell you if she was here. But anyways, so those are the kind of shops that we're looking for, and we're a patient company. Again, this is not something that we're looking to go out. And I know there's some concern about all this development going on at one time. But just like David said, his development and our development, these multi-phase, mixed-use developments are very complicated. And we're not going to do anything that's crazy and get out there and build a bunch of retail or residential or whatever if we don't feel like the market there and can support it. So as far as competing with David's project, I see the projects actually complementing each other. I was pretty excited to hear what he's doing because we're creating synergy, and that's going to be good for the community. So anything that we can do to support that project or other development on Military Cutoff is something that, we're excited about. Dealing with the traffic, again, our traffic impact analysis called for us to do extensive work on Military Cutoff. We're adding a whole lane for a good section of Military Cutoff. We improve, according to our analysis, and this is probably the best in state traffic engineer that we've hired. And our traffic study has gone through not only local vetting, it's gone through the regional NCDOT office, and it's gone through the state's congestion management. And we've passed, with flying colors in all of those levels. But our analysis on the intersections that we studied, I think there was 6 or 8 intersections, we actually, post our improvements to Military Cutoff, improve just about, half of the intersections, and the rest are at basically the same level after we do our improvements and after we build out Avenue. There was only one intersection that actually dropped, but that intersection, regardless if we develop Avenue or not, is going to drop a level anyway. So it was kind of a neutral in that regard. But we feel like that what our traffic impact analysis states and that what we're prepared to do will not be harmful to the traffic movements on Military Cutoff. And also this, I wouldn't be willing to invest $1 on Military Cutoff if I didn't believe myself that traffic on Military Cutoff was going to be improved or at least the same. And of course, with these projects taking so long, we're looking at, of course, the intersection at Market and the intersection at Eastwood to be improved during those time frames. And that's another reason why we're phasing this development.
David?
Okay, let me give you a few little statistics as best I can. As far as retail is concerned, Lumina Station, and I'll talk about the people that have an influence over what we're doing out there. Lumina Station is 100% occupied as far as retail space is concerned. Adjacent to it, Lumina Plaza, or whatever they call that, right beside it where the Harris Teeter is located, it has 1 vacancy. The Landfall Shopping Center is 100% occupied right now. The Forum, where we are, is 94% occupied right now. Across the street, the Harris Teeter would have 1 vacancy over there. Mayfair is a different animal. It's a totally different animal from what Roy's doing and what I'm doing. They're dealing with big boxes, big names, and so I really see that as an attribute, being people to the big boxes, but I get all the leftovers. That's what I did at the Forum, and that's what I wanted. I wanted him over there. He took me to a brand new level at the Forum because he was a regional draw. So I'm not concerned about the retail. We're looking for the smaller shops. We're going to be dealing with people that are 2,000 to 7,000 square feet. I'll probably have 2 boxes that will be as much as 20,000 square feet, but I know the specific use of what I'm doing there, and it's all related to what our clientele's going to want when they arrive at our project. So I have no problems with any of that. We're 2 years out on it. We see the phone rings. We still manage all of the forum and all. We know who's there, and we're being very selective in who we put in the forum, and we will be very selective in who we put in CenterPoint. Number 2, traffic. I don't know about y'all, but you gotta think about this a little bit. When I went to Military Cutoff and brought the first 35 acres out there were strawberry fields, there were cornfields. I shot doves right there on Military Cutoff Road. Across the road, there were cow pastures. There were people over there picking mushrooms out of the cow pastures. I don't know what they were doing. So it was a 2-lane highway. Then I built the shopping center. And everybody said, God, that guy must be going crazy if he's doing that out there. No anchors in the place, not a national tenant other than Merrill Lynch in the whole project. But I knew the market. I knew the people in Landfall. I knew the people at Wrightsville Figure 8. And it was designed specifically to attract them. Everybody said, we're going to Raleigh to Charlotte, or we're getting on a plane, we're going to Washington, Chicago, New York to shop. And I said, why are they going to do that when we can bring some of these here? Now, 20 years ago, it was hard to attract those people to Wilmington. Our demographics, half of it was blue water on one side. The other side, we were limited by the rivers and our population. So it was a challenge for us to bring, but finally we brought a few people in here and they said, we're doing good, so let's come on. I think what we're getting ready to do is going to take Wilmington to a whole brand new level. Now let's get to the traffic. When we were out there, it was 2 lanes. Dobo Water Company had the power. You got commissioners, y'all know all these things. We went in, we built our property. All of a sudden, they said, DOT said, we need a bigger highway. And right. So they started building bigger highways. We suffered through that for 2 years out there. That wasn't easy. But when it was finished, it was great. Everybody could get to us. DOT, MPO, that's their goal. That's their goal in life, to make it easy on us. We do all complain. Everybody complains. But let's talk about why we complain. We complain because there's more traffic. Why generally is there more traffic? It's because there's something we want to go to in that part of town. If there's something that we really enjoy going to, we're going to put up with some of the traffic backup. Let's say I go to Carolina to a ball game. I got traffic going into the ball game, but I'm willing to wait for it. And so what our duty is as a developer is find the best piece of property that we can find to provide a service to the community. Our project here has 8 means of access out to public roads. So we have the ability to fan our people out at any one given time. Our duty is to build something on that property that people want to come to. We're putting apartments, we're putting all of this mix and all in it. And is it our duty to build roads and all? No, it's not. It's not our duty. We build the buildings, we pay the taxes. The taxes are used to improve the city and build the roads. And DOT understands this, and they're doing everything they can to accommodate. So my feeling is there may be a little traffic, but we've done a study. We've looked at Military, Eastwood, and Market Street. If you can vision that triangle, a lot of people within that. Anybody that wants to come to CenterPoint does not have to get on any one of those streets to get to us. If you look at the map, they will all funnel in through the backside of Mayfair and all, and they will get to our project. The people in Landfall, 2,100 acres, 1,800 homes in there, all they have to do is come to the Drysdale gate, take a drive 60 feet across the highway, and they're in our project. So we're not throwing them out on the roads. People can get to us. So yes, I don't know anybody. I used to live in a little town like Mount Airy, North Carolina. I complained about the traffic in Mount Airy, North Carolina. You go to Raleigh and I say, boy, Wilmington's not a bad place to live. So we're doing the best we can, and we think we're offering something to the community that they've never seen before. and get ready.
Again, if you have a question, please text it in to the number that's in your program. First question we'll take is table 61. Lori?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep, can hear you.
Thank you for being here. My question is, can you comment on how the development fits into the overall city and county plans?
Gonna have to repeat that one, Rob.
So the question was, how do your developments sit into the plans from the city and New Hanover County?
Well, I'll start. In terms of River Place, I think the city really wants a vibrant downtown, and the way to have a vibrant downtown is to have people living in downtown Wilmington. And so I think obviously we're accomplishing that goal by bringing in 171 residential units, and I think that fits nicely with the city's plan. I think other developers in downtown are doing the same thing. You have Sawmill Point. They brought on 280 units, and there's a number of other developments that are coming online. But I think the city really wants to see a vibrant downtown, and so our plan fits nicely with that.
I can talk about Avenue. It fits in with the land development ordinance, the Wilmington Land Development Ordinance, which encourages density in that area along that corridor of mixed-use nature. And the great thing about mixed use, talking about traffic, is, and our entire development is constructed so that the buildings and the structures are on the front street and parking is behind. And it's not like maybe some traditional older centers where things are spread out and it doesn't have great walkability. Everything is intentional. It's lined up again on the main street that's coming in. The shops are beneath the apartments on top. And what we are hopeful that we can create something really special with our cobblestone streets and gas-lined street lights that where people want to come and park their car and then walk around to the shops or visit a restaurant or go into the hotel. And so, and that's one of the things that Weston loved about our project when we were wining and dining them, trying to get them to come to Wilmington. And I can tell you, we talked to Hilton, and they said, no, we're not interested in coming to Wilmington anytime in the next 10 years, is an exact quote. We talked to the Marriott flag, and they weren't interested. Pretty much the same conversation. It just so happens that the stars aligned, and we talked to the Starwoods folks. And the background story there is that Starwoods at first said, no, Wilmington's not ready for a 5-star full-service hotel. And we worked them, had them visit numerous times to Wilmington, visit the site. And in the end, that's what they really liked, is they liked the walkability of what we were proposing. And the other thing that I didn't know at the time is that Starwoods was selling themselves to Marriott. And they, in that sale, this is my opinion, in that sale, they were trying to get their revenue up that last quarter before the sale because they were selling themselves at some multiple of revenue. And so they collected our license fees and everything. But it doesn't matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how much wining and dining that I would do today, and even with our relationships with the Marriott folks, I don't think I could get a flag. Unfortunately, I don't think I could get a flag today for a Westin 5-star hotel in this market. So we're very thankful that the stars did align and we've got that flag, and I think that's going to be something unique for your market. When you talk about the economic impact that a 5-star hotel like the Westin brings to the market, it's incredible. You look at the draw coming in, you look at new businesses looking to relocate their headquarters or bring in customers. You need more high-end hospitality. And I can tell you a firsthand account of the North Carolina Bar Association some years ago was looking at Wilmington to hold their annual conference. They went elsewhere, didn't have enough full-service hotels. The North Carolina Chamber, same story. Even our company looked several years ago at bringing in employees and having a big event, and there wasn't enough full-service, upscale hotel space. So I think that's going to be a tremendous draw, a tremendous economic boost for this economy, this $90 million Westin Hotel.
About 5 years ago, the city started recognizing that they were running out of land within the corporate limits. We were losing people going to Brunswick County, across the river, and jumping across the river is a big deal. Pender County is now getting a sewer system. It's a privately owned sewer system. It's going that direction. A vibrant city must have the ability to grow. They must be able to offer opportunities for industry, for businesses, for their residents. A community that does not have that vibrance withers. And they had the foresight to go in to start looking at our zoning regulations. They came up with the city came up with a comprehensive plan in 2016. And in that, and with the new zoning regulations, it allowed people to build height, go up in stories. But in order to do that, they wanted to mix the livability along with opportunities for these people to dine, have restaurants, and the likes. In that comprehensive plan, it identified my piece of property as a specific place that would work well. We have been working with the city and DOT for the last year. We have shared with them our original plans. We've asked for recommendations, suggestions, and we have modified according to their desires. Parking is a big issue, surface parking. 10 years ago, everybody built a shopping center and put the parking out front. That was the way you did it. They don't want it that way now. So we have roughly 1,800 parks on our property, of which we have 2 structured parking decks, 750 in each of those decks. In the picture that you saw with the apartments, you didn't see a parking deck. The apartments were built that surrounded that deck, so the people that live there could go to those units. If they came to the hotel, the valet could put it in it. You didn't even see them. Over near the medical facility, we have a 700 car parking deck that's there. And it has very little site view. We have a total of 16% of our parking is on surface parking. And even the surface parking that you see is being designed where trees, walls, different things will block a great deal of that. So the bottom line there is we have tried to accommodate all the city's requirements. We are going from an R15 zoning to a UMX zoning, which allows all that to occur. So we're not taking this lightly. I perceive this project to be a 75-year project. When I do a project, I usually think they're good for 40 years. 40 years if you put new facades on them at the end of the 25th year and start doing things. But this is such a strategic location. Everybody talks about location. This is location, location, location. You pass it to go to the beach. You pass it coming in from town from the north. It is location, location, location. So, Sandy, I saw the picture of your granddaughter. I got a 6-year-old, that Jason's and Katie's daughter, and I got a 1-year-old son. I expect them to be running this operation in about 60 years. So we skipped Jason. Jason's already running the shop. So we got another generation. And I am convinced if we maintain it as we always have, we stay in tune. You know, we're doing a few things like, this is sort of quirky, but I know that in the future, this e-commerce, we're going to start seeing drones flying around delivering packages to us. We're going to put a drone port on the top of one of our buildings. Nobody really knows how to do it yet. The first one's being built out in Las Vegas now. But we're going to be there where if we have 300 tenants in there and they're buying, and a lot of these would be the Millennium Group, they're going to be buying email, They'll just drop in on the roof and it'll be delivered. Likewise, our retailers, at some point in time, our retailers, a good retailer now, whether he's a national or regional, he is selling by e-commerce too. The good retailers that I have in all of my shopping centers have embraced it. They have their storefronts, but probably 30% of their sales are coming over the internet. So if they're selling something, if they're selling a pair of shoes to you, Sandy, they can go to, it could be delivered through the port. Right now, 86% of all of Amazon's packages weigh less than 5 pounds. So that's my story.
Thank you. Next question's Tom at table 8.
Across town, I think that we're seeing a lot of development of luxury apartments, and I see that these also have that as their residential component. I was just curious why you're shifting in that direction versus condos.
Well, I made the comment a while ago, and I was serious about it. I said, you know, my grandson and my granddaughter are probably going to own this stuff one day, and I'd rather own the apartments and rent them than I had sell them off. The money all goes away then. So who knows, in the future, somebody may decide that we need to sell them as condos, but the people that I know, we're going to end up in my units. We'll have a lot of the millennials and we'll have a lot of the baby boomers like me. A lot of people are telling me, Dave, build me something that I would live in, then I can get rid of this 7,000 square foot house. So, you know, I think that's the group that I'm looking for. A lot of the young people don't want to own at this point. They want to go out and dine with me downstairs.
We're looking at the same thing, basically. Everything that the Carroll Companies is developing today, we're developing to keep. And so we're looking at this as a long-term hold. And to David's point, when we look across our multifamily portfolio, we're really looking at two age groups for the most part. We have, of course, the young professionals, and then we have empty nesters. And that empty nester market is growing more and more every day. And they're demanding, you know, the upscale finishes. If they're moving out of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home, they're willing to downsize, but they're not willing to give up some of the finishes that they're used to. And we went over a year and something ago and met with the landfall folks in OA, owner association over there, and we had actually several people come up to us afterwards and said, hey, you know, we'd love to stay in the area. We're probably going to sell our big house. It's, you know, we've got the big yard to maintain and the shutters and the gutters and all that. And we see what you're doing, especially the fact that it's tucked in there, the landfall. We see it ideal for us to maybe downsize at some point in the future and still maintain roots in the community. So we feel, and those folks, a lot of them, not all of them, but some of them don't want to make a purchase because they're not sure what's going to happen long-term, health and other reasons.
Lucian?
Well, River Place actually has a mix of apartments and condos, and so we actually, it remains to be seen the depth of the condo market in downtown, but we're certainly off to a great start in our sales effort. We, you know, if there's enough depth there, there's a possibility of us converting all of the apartments to condominiums. We just need to see, but if that's not the case, then we certainly feel like there is the market for, like David and Roy said, you know, there's millennials who don't want to own a house anymore, and we are giving them the opportunity to own or to rent a luxury condo or a luxury apartment in downtown Wilmington with, you know, plenty of great amenities. And as the, you know, there's some great employers in downtown that, and their employees want a nice place to live, and so we're going to be able to offer that to them. Plus, we only have 79 apartments right now, and so we don't feel like that there's going to be a problem with that market.
Let's talk a little bit about, we've had comments already from Dave and Roy on how e-commerce is changing the retail landscape. How do you see that progressing? How concerned are you in terms of building retail space?
again, we're if you look on Military Cutoff, all the retail development, Avenue actually will be the smallest retail development on Military Cutoff. And so we've greatly scaled down from 2 years ago, our plans, we threw everything that we could onto the site plan. We've greatly scaled down to where it's about 110,000 square feet of retail shops. It's just tucked in because we are concerned about the retail in the future and what that means. And we're not big retail developers to begin with. We're more into the multifamily, hospitality, and office. So I think the shops will add, and of course, that's part of the whole mixed use that we need. But that's not the cornerstone of what we're doing as a high traffic generation retail type development.
Conversely, we are retail people. We're going to be doing 180,000 square feet of retail space, but I would assume about a third of that will be in restaurants. I once owned a shopping center down in Myrtle Beach called the Galleria, and I had 185,000 square feet in that center. I had 12 restaurants. We had restaurants that offered different things. We had the steakhouse, we had the Chinese restaurants, we had the Japanese restaurants, we had the sushi bars, we had the Italian restaurants, and it goes on and on. I found that by having that, there are people that want to eat out, and they, believe it or not, there are people that eat out every night, but they don't want to eat at the same establishment. So they come to my property and they will select whatever they so desire to go in there. The other thing is big boxes are, I think, in greater jeopardy than smaller boutique shops. We're not going to do big boxes. I've never done the big boxes. I just don't. If you lose a big box, you lose a lot. I had one center that I bought that was 300,000 square feet. I redid it. I was 100% occupancy. 90 days later, Zayres went into bankruptcy and Roder's went into bankruptcy, and I lost 125,000 square feet out of 300,000. So I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. So the bottom line is we're going for these smaller people. I know the smaller people. I'm also looking for the national names. There's no doubt about that. But our team here is real good at dealing with people in North Carolina that has great shops in Charlotte, great shops in Winston-Salem or in Raleigh or whatever, and we'll go after those people. And those people, the ones that are really good at it, as I mentioned before, they embrace the e-commerce scenario. They will send out blasts to their customer base. Next week we're bringing a new shipment of blank in. And they come to it. So the merchants that understand that, and we monitor everybody to try to determine how their sales are going on. We know who's good, we know who's not good. We know the ones that probably won't make it the next 10 years. So we go after those long-term people.
So at River Place, our square feet of retail is a fraction of what these guys are. I mean, we're doing 32,000 square feet, and that seems to be appropriate for the downtown market. We've actually been very successful in our leasing efforts today. We've already leased up 45% of the retail, and we've got a good mix of clients, and we're kind of going after what David's going after. We're not looking to try to bring in a national retailer at this point. We've got smaller names, and we've got people that are kind of insulated from the Amazon effect of people buying this stuff online. We've got a restaurateur, fine dining, which you can't order on Amazon. We've got Access Fitness, and they're an operator out of Lumina Station, and they're expanding all over the city. But you can't order a workout online. You need to go to the gym and meet with your trainer to do that. And we also have a national retailer and a small national retailer, Rocket Fizz. It's a candy store. So while you can order candy online, when you're vacationing downtown with your family and your kids want a treat, you go into Rocket Fizz and you get some nerds everlasting Gobstoppers and a Charleston Chew and maybe a Dr. Brown's cream soda. And you want it's instant gratification. So that's the kind
You're
of
going to have a dentist there too?
so that's the kind of niche we're filling with our retail in downtown.
But Rob, let me mention something. It even is broader than that. For instance, we're building 31,000 square feet of office space. We're not just looking for the regular office user. We're looking for the person that's going in there and say, going to do an estate planner or a financial institution or a stock brokerage. We want the people that are living or shopping that have exposure to these people so they're not hidden away. We want to bring them down there into the mix. So truly a person that lives in our development can shop, can dine, can go to their advisor, financial advisors, go to their physical therapist, go to their dentist. We're going to have all those kinds of people. What's happening, and we are a reasonably small town that's getting big. And what you will find that you will have hubs all around this community. You'll have a hub at Landfall. You'll have a hub over at the Cameron property. You'll have the downtown hub. People will be able to satisfy their needs close to home to stay off of the roads. That's what we're after, and that's what happens as city grows. So we have a wonderful hub here that will draw people from other places too. The bigger the hub, the more it will draw. But that's what's happening to Wilmington, and that is good for us.
Next question's from Tom Barber up front with probably our most important question of the day.
Yes, I know I'm speaking for a lot of friends here today. When do you gentlemen expect P.F. Chang's to be here in Wilmington?
He said, what did change?
P.F. Chang's.
Oh,
Has anybody tried to sell P.F. Chang's yet?
well, I see Roy down there for dinner quite often, so we're all trying.
Has anybody tried that? And I have a follow-up question.
I think everybody is looking at the opportunities, and when somebody voices something, we react. A long time ago, when I was doing one little project here in town, we asked the town, what do you want? This was out at the intersection of College Road and Market. And we had bought the old Mad Monk. A lot of people were unhappy with me because I bought the Mad Monk, and so it had to close. But the number one thing that people wanted was a Cracker Barrel. So we went after Cracker Barrel, and we brought Cracker Barrel to town. So you tell us what you need, and we'll go after them.
I think if we do get a P.F. Chang's here, then it means our demographics is changing for the better. I mean, I think they have a list they need to check off in terms of, average income and number of critical mass of people in a certain area. So I think if we saw that, we're doing, the city's continuing to grow.
Mm-hmm. Do you see, with restaurants, do you see the market changing a lot? I mean, I think one of the striking things about Mayfair is there's been 3 restaurant locations that have been vacant now for a decent amount of time in a center that's, largely done well and has expanded recently. Has something changed in the restaurant market? Is that an anomaly, or what do you?
I'll tell you my thoughts.
Please.
The restaurant industry the margins are less. Generally restaurants work off of 30, 30, 30, 10. 10 comes to the bottom line to the operator. He's got his cost of operations, he's got his cost of food, and et cetera. So 10% comes to the bottom line. So a lot of the big boxes have come in here and specifically there have built 10,000 square foot boxes. They have to generate a great deal of revenue. That situation, they did a land lease. So they built their own buildings on the property. They had a land lease cost. They had a cost of what they built the building. They had their equipment package. And that makes it tough. You got to put a lot of people through it. And perhaps that was more than the market would handle 8 years ago. So you got to, in my business, when we deal with restaurants, Everybody thinks you make a lot of money in your restaurants. Not in our company. We don't do that. What we do is we probably charge them less rent than anybody else, but we put a percentage rent clause in. So if they're making money, they share it with us, but we're not going to run them out of business. We're going to give them an opportunity to cover all their bills and make some money, and then they're going to share with us. So if we support them and help them out and all, it works for us. Mortality rate in restaurants is the highest of anything out there. That's my philosophy.
Any other restaurant thoughts before we go? So I wanted to, before we get going, I wanted to ask one bigger picture question. I mean, all of you have been involved in other projects in other communities, and you know, as you're doing your first project here, or as you're doing other projects here, what do you think our community should do to ensure we have smart, sustainable development? I mean, how does our community look to you? You know, what are we doing right or wrong versus other communities you've been in, and what can we do to keep improving?
Well, I think the fact that, you know, these developments that we're talking about are mixed-use developments. Again, that you can't tax people like us enough to build the roads needed if we continue the 1960s, 1970s development model where you have your retail over here, you have your office or workspace over there, and your residential somewhere else. That's led up to a lot of the issues that, you know, around the country that we're facing. But when you have planning that is encouraging development, like David's development, like our development, and like the East-West Partners, where you have a mix, hopefully, you know, we have an office component. So hopefully you've got people that'll park cars and walk to the restaurant or walk home or walk to their office. And so I think that's across the country, we're seeing a push because we also are big just multifamily developers. And most of the more advanced cities, municipalities will not let us just build a multifamily community. They require a mixed-use component, be it a work component or a retail component or something else, because they've reached the same conclusion that your planning staff and your elected officials have, which is we just can't build roads fast enough. That's just the fact of the matter. So we've got to be smarter about our development. And also another thing is urban sprawl, where it's, you know, pushing out. You know, in this market, you can only go 180 degrees. You can't go east but so far, of course. And there's limited sites. David's site's a great example. Our site's a great example, where that mixed use, fairly high density node makes a lot of sense to fill in. So again, we're not having to build roads out to suburbia and further west. So I think your planning staff, I think your elected officials are dead on, and we do work around the southeast, and this is what we're seeing again in most cities and municipalities.
Luch?
Yeah, I think River Place is a great example of smart growth. We're giving people who want to live downtown an opportunity to live in an area where they don't have to get in their car and drive to all the services and amenities they want. I mean, that's why I think our site is especially, it's well located within downtown compared to some other residential projects in downtown. All of our residents, really, they could not use their car for a week and be happy. I think David earlier hit it on the nail on the head when he talked about the future land use plan. I think the county our local officials, spend a lot of time creating this plan that's going to help pave the way for smart growth for the next 25 or 30 years. In terms of sustainability, which is near and dear to my heart, I think, unfortunately, most owners and developers are not as interested in paying for that because up to now there's been a premium for it. So I think I think there's really a need for our commercial buildings and our residential buildings to have a lower carbon footprint. And for that to really happen, I think it's got to happen through legislation rather than people opting to do that, because I just haven't seen enough people going that road to date.
David?
I could say the city has embraced us. They have given us the tools to do what they want us to do. We're listening to them. We're trying to design. We're trying to build according to their requirements. The issue that a developer runs into quite often, when it comes to time for the vote, the naysayers come out and the silent majority stays at home. And if the city fathers can recognize that, they recognize what we're doing, they can look at the long-range profitability for our community, not just from tax, but from people's enjoyment and the vibrance of the community. If they can see through that and give us the favorable nod so we can move forward, then everyone will win. But when we have a reasonably small group of people that may oppose us on these projects stand up, it's 20 to 1. If there's 20 of them and me, there's 20 to 1 against me. And sometimes it is very difficult for a city father to see through their concerns and see what's best for our community. These are 3 dynamic projects. Raleigh, Charlotte, any community in this state would love to have any of these 3 projects built in their town. Let's don't blow it. Let us move forward and let us prove ourselves. So we need your support. Thanks.
Let's please have a round of applause for our panel.